I'm starting off the morning with some lovely Brussels sprouts. I cut them in half, I drizzle them with the oil, and put a little bit of sea salt over the top. I got everything working out. I'm actually going to check in these in about 30 minutes. So I like them roasted a little extra and then slightly burnt over the top. I know that sounds a little weird, but I went to a restaurant once and it was awesome that way. So that is the game plan for that. I am going to be doing a couple of different dishes, side dishes to go with it. So let's hope that I can get it all done and coordinated in the same amount of time. About 10 minutes have passed since I put the Brussels sprouts in. So at this juncture, I have about 4 smaller yellow squash and 1 zucchini chopped up, as well as some kielbasa. I threw some butter on top of the squash, and I did leave a little extra space for the steam to be let out. Put that in there. One thing I do like to say is once you start kind of getting the general experience for cooking with these solar ovens, you kind of almost get the positioning right on the dot when you need it to. So that was a really fun experience. And on to my next 3 dishes, which are mostly for the kids. They were per kid's request, so we will start going on there in just a minute. All right, so the girls' request was macaroni and cheese, so I guess it was good enough that I could do it again. So let's see if I can get the timing down a little better than I did before. So Dintalini seems to be the best one to use for these if you're going to do it this way, at least from my experience. So I did a half a cup of Dintalini, and then half a cup of water. So it is 1 and 1 for this. I have only found the Go to be the one that works most efficiently with pastas. So, all right, we got that one in there. Let's see if we can get it in there without spilling too much. So go ahead and pop that in. Make sure you stir your pasta before you put it in the solar oven. I mean, I think everybody kind of knows that because you don't want it to stick together too much. And also from my experience, you do want to check every 10 minutes or so to make sure that your pasta is not sticking together. So you want to stir it and kind of make sure that it's taken care of and cooking all the right way. So get that one. And last but not least, so we're going to put this one down here on the lower step. I almost fall down the steps while I'm doing that. It's pretty talented right there. All right. And pour that in. Just like that. And I poured a little bit on the step. That's okay though. I can always come back and add water if it needs it. Oh, look at that. I just dropped some pasta while I was there. So that's okay. So I'll come back in about 10 minutes from this and go ahead and check on that and see where we are. So we're about 10 minutes out on the pasta. As you can see, it's starting to soften up some. We're going to get down in the back. So that's how they look. But since we're about 10 minutes out in the pasta, it also means that we are... cat. That could have been really bad. We're actually about 20 minutes out in the Brussels sprouts, which look absolutely divine. can't even put words. I know a lot of people, this would be done for a lot of people, but like I said, I like mine somewhat burnt, and that just looks amazing. So I'm gonna let some of the moisture out a little bit, since we should be in about the last 10 minutes or so on that. And then we're 20 minutes out, no, 15 minutes out on this, which I wish you guys could smell this. This smells really good. The butter actually hasn't melted yet, but we're getting there. So from my experience, it takes about 10, like I said, this was about 15 minutes out on the fusion, and it takes about 15 minutes to really start heating up and going. So I'm going to finish stirring the macaroni or the Dintalini, and then in about another 10 minutes, we're going to check up on everything and see how we are. We're at the second 10-minute mark on the pasta. Let's check that out.
It's really hot. Mom, I need to get a spoon.
You don't need a spoon yet, baby. Okay, so the pasta is almost there. I'm going to leave it cracked for just a little bit to let some of the steam out, some of the water out. I might dump this one just a touch though, and stir it just a little bit more, and probably keep it in for another 5 minutes, and those should be done. So pasta takes about 25, but you do want to stir in between. And then butter's officially melted. That looks absolutely divine. I don't know if you guys can see that. So this has officially been in there for about 25 minutes or so. I calculated at about 30 for this. Between 30 and 40 minutes because of what it is. Come on, just pop it in. There we go. And so those calculations are out pretty good. I let this one steam a little. I don't know if you guys can see the steaminess. That just looks so good. As you can see, it's starting to get a nice brown to it. Ooh, that's hot, but it is really good. Oh my goodness. I don't know if you can see the beautiful steaminess off of that. Wow, that looks so good. Okay, so I'm going to push those back in there. I'm actually going to put it in for another 10 minutes. I want it to roast up pretty good. Oh, it's getting nice and brown. That's so good. That's so awesome. All right, so I'm going to leave it for another 10 and give it a really good space to
why it's so pretty?
It's so pretty. Okay, so yeah, we're gonna let that steam a little bit. Be careful. Where, Liza? Where? So my number 3, she likes to check on her own. As you can see, it's nice and steamy and hot. Remember, don't touch. Yeah.
Mom, it's so beautiful.
It's so beautiful. So as you guys can see, this one's actually looks like it's about ready. So what probably in all that time that I did all that talking, those actually cooked up pretty nice. So I'll bring them inside and we'll mix them up with some milk and cheese and whatnot and show it off and have that. And yes, so we'll have that. Sorry, the dog over there, he's chasing the cat. So but yeah, so we'll mix it up, and or at least one of them is going to have their food real quick. So it looks like we do have a little bit of water left, which I'm going to go ahead and drain, and then I'm going to put the rest in the bowl with some butter, add a little shot of milk, and then this is still Winco cheese powder. I just put it in a Parmesan thing because I can. We emptied it out. This is actually a good amount of pasta. If you have...
steamy.
It's very steamy. So if you have a light eater, let me pause that really quick. All right, so we added the cheese powder and some milk, and we're gonna stir it up really good, but that's not me stirring, that's a 4-year-old stirring, but all in all, how is it? Good? Mm-hmm. Yep, so it's kid approved. right, let's check this out. Now we got perfect sun catching. Oh, that looks good. It's still a little crispier than it should be. So I'm gonna save another 10 minutes and it should be ready to go. I know I do things in 10 and 20 minute intervals if you haven't noticed, but that's just how my brain works. Oh yeah, we're getting a nice broil on these. Almost even a burn on the back ones. Wow. That's perfect. So like the others, I say another 10 minutes or so and those will be absolutely perfect. All right. So, still let that kind of steam out. Yeah, those are on point. A little overcooked, so, but I still like that burn. So that might not be one of those things I can do in the solar oven. It might be something I have to check out with the cast iron, which will be later this year. All right, so this is the last 10 minutes. Let's see how the veggies fared. That steam is just, you know what? Those are good. They're cooked right at that peak sweetness. So I'm actually going to pull that and bring that in. And then we'll check out the Brussels sprouts and see how those are faring. Oh good, we got a lot more that are nice and toasty. So I'm actually going to pull both of those and bring them inside. So under normal circumstances, you typically are going to want to close this up, close it up and kind of leave it outside. But because of the temperature it is, I typically just fold it up, bring it inside because it's a little bit warmer inside than it is outside. So we don't shock our tubes. And so this is actually one of my favorite features about this is the tube itself is nice and cool, but on the inside it's like nice and toasty hot. So I'll go ahead and take those in. I think overall we're looking, if you wanted to do Brussels sprouts like this, so if you wanted to do them at the perfect temperature, I would say you're cooking them at about half an hour to 40 minutes, which is your standard oven roasting time. And that would be the standard, what you would be looking for. Like I said, I was trying to broil mine to get that real nice hard crisp. For this one, I mean, if you're going to make it in the pan, you're going to make it in an oven, you're looking at about the same amount of time. If you're going to preheat, if you're making this in pan, it'd be significantly faster. But this was also made in the Fusion. So if this is a meal you want to make, like if you're camping or the like, and you just want to pop it in the sun and go play and do something for an hour, this is definitely a good way to do it. So overall, this is about an hour or so, I believe. And I put the Brussels sprouts at an hour, but if you want them to just be nicely roasted, about 30 to 40 minutes, depending on your preference. So all in all, still I find that a success. So I had a macaroni and cheese today, and then we had the grown-up meal of the turkey sausage and zucchini that turned out really nice. So we're gonna go ahead and sit down and eat, and I hope you enjoyed the video.